Welcome back to Curious Handmade. I am Sam and I am here for all you beginner sewers, and hello particularly to I've had so many new followers and many of you are completely new beginner sewers. You possibly got a sewing machine for Christmas and you're just finding your feet with it all, and loads of people have been asking me where to find fabric, where do I buy my fabric? So I thought I'd do a quick post, and actually as I was planning it I realised there is so much to it that I can tell you, that I want to tell you, that I've learned in the 2 years that I've been sewing. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet-ish, but also give you loads of information that I hope you find useful. I will put links to everything I mentioned down below. If you've got any questions, then by all means, ping me a message, leave a comment below, and I will try and help you as much as I can. But I hope you find this useful, and welcome to the curious roundup of all things fabric. Before I jump into the detail of what fabric I buy, where I buy it from, I wanted to say something quickly about how my attitude and approach to buying fabric has changed massively since I started sewing. When I first started, I was totally ignorant about kind of the quality of what I was buying, or even the fabric type. I literally looked at, did I like the pattern and was it cheap, to be honest? Because I didn't want to spend a fortune on fabrics whilst I was learning, because inevitably I was going to mess up and I was going to make mistakes. But as I have got more confident with sewing, but also as I have bought more fabric, and you can see I've probably got a bit of a problem in terms of how much fabric I buy, I am now much more aware of the provenance of the fabric that I'm buying. And I became, quite early on, I became aware of something called the, I think it's pronounced Okotex standard. And I would urge you, if you're buying fabric, to look and check to see if the fabric that you're buying carries that standard, because basically what that means is that that fabric has been tested for harmful substances. It's basically safe for you to buy, it's been responsibly sourced, and it just gives you that confidence that you are buying responsibly, because there is an awful lot of crap fabric out there basically that either is super cheap because it's not made very well and it's just going to fall apart the minute you sew with it, or it's cheap because someone somewhere hasn't been paid properly for making it. So I am now much more conscious of what I buy and where I buy it from, and I find that looking for that Okotex standard, or if something is organic, and really looking at the credentials of what I'm buying is something that I'm much more aware of. So, health warning over. The other thing I wanted to say before I go into the detail, and I promise I am getting to the detail, was in terms of what fabric you buy is really going to depend on what you want to make. A lot of what I'm going to show you today is because it fits what I make. I make a lot of these boxy makeup bags, little pouches. I do some clothes, not a lot of clothes. And so what I buy fits that. So I'm often looking for cords, but with really nice accent fabrics that will go inside. And as I say, these kind of more ditzy florals. So these suit me. So think about what you're going to be making, and then that will also influence what fabric you want to look for and which suppliers you want to find. And I can assure you, once you've found 2 or 3 that you love and that you feel confident with, you will keep going back to buy from those. Right, we're getting into the meaty stuff. And there are 5 sections to this, because I buy my fabric, and I don't always buy my fabric. I don't steal it, but I'm given it or whatever, I'll come on to that. So 5 sections to this. The first is fabric brands, because if you're not living in the UK, a lot of places I buy from are UK stores, and although some ship internationally, others don't. So I thought I would talk about brands that I love, because I know a lot of those are available internationally. And so we'll talk about brands. Then I will talk about some of my favourite UK stores, and as I say, some do ship internationally. I will cover off wholesale. I will cover off charity stroke upcycling, and then and other. So buckle up, I'm just going to rattle through this. Okay, here are my 5 current favourite fabric brands. First up, Gutermann. They don't just do threads, and I only found this out recently. I buy these from a lovely local independent supplier, Rachel's Textiles. I've realised when I was getting these out, they all have one thing in common. They are such gorgeous quality. This is really lovely cotton, and they do beautiful patterns. So first up, Gutermann. Second, I think this might be in at my equal top favourite is Tilda. Again, beautiful, beautiful quality. You can see here, if anyone's done my boxy pouch sew along, that was a Tilda fabric. Lots of people have asked me about that. They do these beautiful little like ditzy, they do lovely seasonal ones. I've got this gorgeous mistletoe fabric as well. I've used these for key fobs, for linings, for things. It's just gorgeous. So that's Tilda. Third is Lewis and Irene. Again, you've probably seen me using these as some sew-alongs. Beautiful fabrics, gorgeous quality. They also do some lovely seasonal things. I've got some sew-alongs for Easter, and I used this gorgeous bunny for little Easter egg treat things that I made last year. And also, if anyone's done my quilted tote sew-along, that was Lewis and Irene, gorgeous bumblebee fabric. So that's my third favourite, is Lewis and Irene. My fourth has to be the mothership. I can't miss out Liberty. Anything Liberty does and touches is just faultless, really. So again, suits me perfectly. I made a beautiful skirt with this one. This one I've used to line some really gorgeous cord totes. This was gifted to me from my gorgeous friend Debbie from her holiday. Oh, I love the Liberty blue. There's something about the blue. And then I also bought this, which I'm hoping to make a blouse for the summer with that. So that's Liberty. And then a fifth, really small, I think they're independent, is a company called the Sewing Sanctuary. And I bought this, I went to the Exeter Craft Fair, and their fabric is kind of lined in PVC. So I'm going to make, it's all responsibly sourced cotton on one side. So if I kind of open it up, there's like cotton on one side and this PVC. So I'm going to make a wash bag with this. On the stand they had rain mats. I mean, gorgeous. Look at this for little children. This little, are they ducks? I'm not sure, but just I love it. So that's the Sewing Sanctuary. So those are currently my 5 favourite fabric suppliers, fabric brands. Okay, here's my rundown of my favourite places to buy fabric currently. They are all UK based, but I know a lot of them do ship internationally. So first up, this one comes with a very slight caveat based on what I said earlier about the Architects stuff. Fabricland. I bought a lot from them when I first started sewing. They are very good value for money, but I now am much more cautious about what I buy from them in terms of making sure I'm getting 100% cotton. They do an awful lot of man-made fabrics, etc. But I'm now more picky and more choosy. However, they are still really good value for money. I go to the Bristol Fabricland, but they do have a website that ships, certainly in the UK and I think overseas. Secondly is Fabrics Galore. The people at Fabrics Galore have just been so lovely. I saw them at the Exeter Craft Show. I bought, if anyone's seen my Sherpa fleece, this is probably going to knacker my mic, so apologies. But I made this, I should have probably put this on before I started filming, this Sherpa fleece gilet, which I absolutely love. So many people have asked me, where did I get this Sherpa fleece? It's from Fabrics Galore, and I have just seen it's back in stock. So it's, oh my goodness, it's so squishy and lovely, and I lined it with a really lovely floral fabric. And I also got brushed cottons. They do gorgeous brushed cottons for pyjama bottoms. I've made pyjama bottoms for me, for my husband, for my son, and I'm also going to be making some for my sister, but hopefully she's not going to watch this because that's a surprise. I've also got lots of seasonal stuff from Fabrics Galore. So Fabricland, Fabrics Galore. The third one is Liberty. I've already mentioned Liberty in my favourite fabrics, but Liberty as a store is just fabulous for all sorts of fabric, and I've shown you some already, so I don't need to show you more now. So it's Liberty. I've got a list here because there's so many. Higgs and Higgs. Really lovely quilted fabrics. I've got some fabulous jersey fabrics. I just can't fit them all on my desk. So Higgs and Higgs, Merchant and Mills, I have bought patterns from so far. I haven't bought their fabrics, but I absolutely covet them. They're just the colours, the textures, but I think they're a bit of a treat purchase. So I'm waiting to find the item of clothing that I really want to buy, to make, and then I will buy my fabric from Merchant and Mills. I talked about Lewis and Irene before. I got mine from Oh So Crafty, SEW Crafty. I'll put all these links down below. Wheeler Fabrics, who are based in Somerset. If you followed me for a while, you'll have seen the really gorgeous blue dress that I made, which was a Merchant and Mills Hattie and Ellis dress, and I made it with organic cotton. They sell the most, I'm conscious I keep saying gorgeous and beautiful, but the most beautiful organic cotton, plus loads of other fabrics. And then after Wheeler Fabrics, there's New Craft House. Now, if you're new to sewing, you might not have heard of the phrase dead stock. I hadn't till relatively recently. And dead stock is materials where designers, so really lovely quality fabrics, when they've made things and they've got fabric left over, that's called dead stock. And there are a number of now stores in London and in lots of other places, but New Craft House is one that sells this dead stock material. They have a lot of Liberty fabric dead stock. This, I bought some really gorgeous ginghams, which were Beyond 9, which is a brand that I love, and I am making some balloon trousers with this gingham, but I'm also thinking of making a tablecloth with this. It's really, really good quality linen. So that's somewhere else, is New Craft House. And then finally, independents. Please support your local independents. I have 3 great independent stores in Jersey that I shop with, and that's Rachel's Textiles, Crafty Quilters, and Treadles. Treadles is more quilting, but still for little pieces of fabric, and for the types of things I make, it's great. So please support your independents. Don't just buy online. I'm to an extent restricted in Jersey, so I do buy online and when I travel. But those are my favourite current fabric stores that I wear fabric from. Right, next up, Wholesale. If you're a beginner sewer and you're just making small things, then this isn't going to be relevant to you. But if you really get the bug, like I did, and you want to be making more, and you're likely to want to buy 10 meters or more of one type of fabric at a time, which I do for particularly for cords and things that I make using that a lot, it's worth looking for a wholesale supplier. I have a lovely wholesaler that I've started building a relationship with called MP Fabrics. They're based in London, and I went to see them, and I will link the post that I did, which was a whole whistle-stop tour of MP Fabrics, because it's just amazing. If you want to just go and be totally inspired, you can get every single fabric you can imagine under the sun there. But I have been working recently with MP Fabrics. What I love about them is you can buy these swatch cards. So I can now look at, I mean, they literally have everything. These are just the ones that I bought. So from them, I can buy, these are boiled wools, bouclés, double gauze, ginghams of every size. You carry on all the cords, canvases, linens, gorgeous colours, etc. They kindly, very kindly, as a result of the post I did before, offered me some fabrics, which I took delivery of just before Christmas. And I have got this really lovely blue boiled wool that I'm thinking of making, firstly, like a jacket or coat for me, but also I've got a lot of friends who love sauna swim thing. And I don't know if you've ever seen, you've got these sauna hats that are wool. So I'm thinking of making some with that and just see what happens as gifts for friends. But yeah, so boiled wool, I got a roll of gingham, and I also got a roll of a linen. So MP Fabrics are my wholesale go-to. I've bought my cords from them, double gauze, some beautiful silks. So wholesale, if you are going to be buying and wanting to buy in bulk, over 10 meters, then it's worth setting up an account with a wholesale supplier. Okay, we're nearly there. My next section is one which I cannot recommend enough, and that is scouring your local charity shops for fabric. I have got some absolute bargains. I got one tablecloth for £1, and I made, I think it was about 18 different items from it, including these gorgeous bags. I got another tablecloth that I used, this gingham, to line these little fabric baskets. If you like these, I've got a free easy sew along for these as well. Charity shops, they're fab. I got brand new towels still with tags on that I bought. Again, an absolute bargain. I think that was 50p. And I use that to make reusable face wipes. Again, got a free sew along for that in my sew along playlist. So charity shops, cannot recommend enough. And also you're doing good because you're putting money back into charities that need it. Next up, I buy a lot of fabric from IKEA and Dunelm, so like homeware stores, and I buy their bedding because you get so much fabric, which is small pounds per metre, and it's really good quality, normally cotton. And so for me, IKEA, I have made so much out of, I got both types of their stripy duvets. I mean, I did a separate post on I worked out how much it was per metre, and it works out at something like £2.50 a metre if you buy a double duvet, because with the pillows and the duvet and everything, you just get so much for your money. I've bought stripy fabric. IKEA do really lovely stuff. They're ginghams, a table runner, which I think I'm going to do some totes with that. So that's IKEA. Dunelm, which is a British store. Again, I did a post. They did some lovely fabrics that I did quite a lot of Christmas stuff with. Again, really good for ginghams. Both of these are Dunelm. And also in their children's department, very often in Dunelm, they've got at the end of the rows of the bedding department, they've got all their bargain stuff. And I got, for some children's things that I'm going to make, this gorgeous elephant cartoony fabric. So Dunelm, can't recommend that enough. So check out your local stores, look in the sales bins for old curtains. You get a lot of stuff for curtains, and also the lining on curtains very often, if you get the blackout ones, is brilliant if you're making wash bags, because it's kind of wipeable. So check out curtains, bedding, and your local department store, particularly the sale rails, because you will grab major bargains. And finally, look for fabric stores when you go travelling. Hop onto Google. I have bought some beautiful fabrics. The problem with this, though, is that I'm not sure I'll ever cut into them because they're so filled with memories from where I went. I bought these two when I was on a Christmas markets cruise with my sister. These are actually tea towels. They're really lovely, thick linen tea towels that I want to make probably some makeup bags or something with. But I bought these in, I think that was in Prague. I bought these in Italy when I was on a choir trip. I did a separate one on my, I did a separate post on my haul of fabrics from the most amazing fabric stores in Lucca. I bought this one, which I did a book sleeve with just before Christmas. That was in Budapest. So when you're traveling, find, and again, most of the time, those little fabric stores are little independents who will love your custom. You will find really unusual fabrics, but also, top tip, if you love it, buy enough of it. I wish I had bought more of this one because, again, so many people have asked me what it is and where it's from, and I can't find it again. So if you know what this fabric is, please tell me, because I would love to buy more. It's the most delicious, I'm not going to say gorgeous and beautiful again, but delicious feeling fabric. So when you're traveling, check out the local independent stores and bring home a little present for yourself or something you can make as a really special souvenir of where you've traveled. So I think that's it. That's my roundup of which fabric brands I love, where I buy fabric. If you've got any that you would recommend that I have missed out or that I don't know, I would love to hear. Although I think I'm going to have to go on a fabric ban. I do think we should set up Fabrics Anonymous because my name is Sam and I am a fabric-aholic, I'm afraid. But anyway, I'm waffling now. Last thing is also check out your cupboards for old sheets, etc. If you're making some clothing and you want to do a toile before you cut into your final fabric, old sheets, bedding, etc. They are great to use so you're not cutting into and doing trial and error on expensive fabric that you've bought. I hope that was useful. If it was, please leave a comment, like, share, hit the bell to subscribe, and I will see you again soon.